All right, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen, on the channel? So today got a very special guest, one of the earlier members of the first class of the program. Super excited to have you here, man. Go ahead, introduce yourself, tell them where you're from or where you're located right now, and then we'll go ahead and run it.
Yo, so my name is Zach Bashega. I'm 21 years old. Joined First Class Setter when I was 20. I'm from Grand Rapids, Michigan, but I'm currently in Arizona right now. So it's beautiful weather out here, a lot better than Michigan, and I'm enjoying myself, taking advantage of the online money and being able to do this.
That's awesome,
Super
bro. Let's go
excited.
ahead and kind of start off with a pretty straight, narrow question. What are you doing in Arizona?
Yeah, so it's purely through a connection I've been able to make online. One of the guys that I currently work with, he is going to Bali, Indonesia for the month. Said, dude, here are the keys to my apartment. Stay in Arizona while I'm gone. I'm like I'm doing that for sure. You
That
kidding
is
me?
awesome.
It was like -5 degrees in the Midwest like 2 weeks ago. I'm like, yeah, I'm getting out. I'm going to Arizona. It's like
Wow.
75 and sunny. It's a lot different, a lot better of a life out here.
Talk
But
about
yeah, I mean,
yeah, talk
purely
about
from the online connections, it's awesome.
Yeah, talk about an opportunity, man. That's nuts. Like,
No
okay,
kidding.
I did not even think that that was actually going to be what you were going to say, but I mean, dude, it's all
Yeah,
power to you. That's what's up.
yeah, yeah.
Cool, dude. So, really, what I want to do for the audience that's watching, I'm sure there's a lot of people that are, kind of wondering what your journey was like. Let's kind of start at the beginning. Usually, the best place I think it is for us to start. What was the beginning? What was life like? And describe it to me in as detailed fashion as you possibly can. What was it like? What were you doing? What did you not want to be doing, etc. We'll go from there, all right?
Yeah, so I mean, I've always been the type of guy to like want to make a lot of money and like always looking for ways to make more money and do more for myself. And back in December of 20, what would have been 2023. Yeah, so I was playing golf for my community college. I had a full class schedule and a full-time work schedule. So I was working 40, 50 hours a week, doing school online and playing a sport for the school. And I was just slammed every day. I'd wake up at like 5:30 a.m. and I wouldn't be done with all my stuff, like school, work, golf, gym to like 9:30 p.m. and I'll just go straight to bed. I'm like, damn, this sucks. This sucks. I'm trying to like replace that 8 hours of work, 8, 9 hours of work every day for like something that gives me a lot more freedom and I'm able to make more money, which is that's online business and the stuff online. So I was looking around on the internet and I've always been the guy that was watching videos and learning new stuff and trying to figure out what to do. Came across Sergio, don't even remember what it was, Instagram, YouTube, probably Instagram. I remember in the same week I booked another call with a different program. It was like for Saturday, but then I booked with you on Thursday. And I ended up just no showing that other Saturday call because we moved forward on the call. And I was like, geez, I have no idea what's going to happen. I don't know. I just paid a couple $1,000s to this guy I just met today. And I was like, he could totally be scamming me right now. But it was by far the best $2,000 I've ever spent. I think it was two. Your
Yeah.
prices
At
are
the
probably
time,
way
at
up.
at the time it was so for anyone watching, don't think you're gonna get away with that. But
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, dude, it's funny. I remember being on that call as well. Like it was really around the time when I had like just launched my program. I was just getting things up and running. I had the connections and I had, opportunities and whatnot. Um and I remember I'm pretty sure I was like terrible at sales. Like I probably wasn't like the best, but dude, the difference that I have seen with you specifically has been the willingness to just move forward. Like you mentioned, you had that thought in mind where I could have just straight up scammed. I could have just taken your money, gone to the Bahamas. I would have been okay, right?
Yeah,
Um,
literally.
but that is exactly the difference versus, where you were and where you are now. Because you made decisions like that and you believed in yourself that much. And dude, I honestly just, regardless of even if it's with me or if it's with who else, like I urge anybody watching the video to be like Zach. Like, don't be afraid to actually bet on yourself because that's what it's gonna take to get into the
Seriously.
space. So on that note, right, we've covered what life looked like, you know, past tense before you ended up joining the program. Let's go ahead and kind of talk about where you are now. So what is life looking like for you? Like just the freedom aspect, time management, everything. Go ahead and break all that down.
Yeah, I just want to go back to one thing real quick. The price. I paid two, but if Sergio charged me six, in hindsight, I would have paid six.
Okay,
I've
good to
made,
know. Good to know.
I just wanted to say that like the from the original investment, I've made like like so much more than what I invested. So I just want to say that to everybody watching, don't be afraid to invest in yourself. That's the only way, like it's not the only way, but you're going to speed up the process by so much. Just gaining access to that network and somebody who's in a spot where you want to be.
Yeah.
But back to the question. I mean, my life in this past year has been so crazy. Like I definitely can say that 2024 was like the best year of my life by far. I've learned so much, made more money than like I ever have, and was able to quit my job that I didn't necessarily enjoy. Like it was decent money, but I mean, it's a regular job. I was just capped at how much I can make working the same hours every week. Didn't enjoy it. I quit that in like September, but like I was so scared to quit. And because I was making like a little bit of money online plus that job. And I was like, shoot, if I quit this job and make like 500 bucks next month, that's really going to suck. But the very month I quit my job, the next month I doubled what I made at that job online. Crazy,
Yeah.
crazy. Like that's going all in on yourself really paid off. And everybody always says it, but when it's actually yourself, you don't like think it's true until
Yeah.
it happens. It's cool. But I mean, I've been able to travel so much in these past 4 or 5 months. Back in the summer of last year, I started dating this girl, and she goes to college like 3 hours away, so I get to stay with her like just during the week because I work online. I'm like, this is awesome. But like, we'll go on trips. I can still work. I don't have to take time off work and be
Yeah.
limited to an area or a city. Um, yeah, and like I'm in Arizona right now. It's awesome.
Yeah. It's funny how that works, right? Kind of going back to the point where you had mentioned like you did, first of all, you did the scary thing in terms of investing in yourself. The second one
Hmm.
was like making that decision to just quit. And so it's just funny how that works time and time again. And again,
Yeah, it's
like
crazy.
the most important thing here is like, yes, you've made money, you've learned this skill and whatnot, but you've already taken like you can't put a price on lessons like that because again, using, setting and just this industry as a whole is always a stepping stone. I guess we'll talk about that here in a minute, but it's meant to get you to a next level and the next one and the next one. And so when you start taking away really
Big
important
time.
lessons, like just making decisions that seem scary on the front end, but have a really big upside, I mean, there's nothing you can put a price on that. So I'm glad to hear that, man. And let's kind of talk in, we don't have to go into super specifics, right? But kind of talk to me about like the types of businesses that you've been helping, the network, stuff like that. Go ahead and tell me about that.
Yeah, so I can kind of go like just straight down the line where I started and where I'm at now, like in terms of the niches that I've been in. The first one was, helping people scale their businesses as a barber. I'm sure you remember that one.
Mm,
That didn't last very long, but it got my foot in the door for the second interview I ever had. I was like, I know what I'm doing now. I kind of have a little bit of experience. Like, let's do this. The next one was an offer in the music niche, and then the next one after that was in the YouTube niche. And now there's one in the wealth and investing niche, and then the coaches niche, similar to what Jeremy Pogue does, just helping coaches scale their business.
right, right.
And yeah, it's been good,
And
been
then
fun.
those last two are the ones that like really, really hit. And again, like I want to emphasize people's journeys are probably going to look similar to this. Sometimes you can get really lucky right off the bat. Other times you're probably going to have to, bounce through a couple just to get your feet wet, actually learn what the skill set is and just grow like that. Like I mentioned, these last two have been like the home runners. So kind of talk to me about like
Big time.
what the actual earning has looked like, just like highest month, and then what you've taken away from like working and rubbing shoulders with guys like that.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll start off with the highest month was actually January, and since I quit my job in September, like end of September, October, November, December, they've all like one upped each other in terms of like the numbers. So it's really cool these past 4 months.
Hmm.
But last month in January, I did 6.5K in commissions. And I was like, it's just so cool to see like the number keep going up, and I'm learning so much more. I feel like I have so much more leverage in the online space. But I mean, in I think in October I did my first like month over $5,000. And I think from when I started with you in December until October, dude, that might have been like how much I made in all that time. Like
Wow.
maybe like 7 to 8K in those first like 6 or 7 months, but like I just never quit.
Mm.
And That's another big thing. I mean, people try out stuff for like 2 months, they quit, and they're like, it's not true, it doesn't work, it's a scam. Like, no,
Yeah.
you can't quit. But
Yeah.
yeah, the making money side of it has been really cool. But I don't like money aside, the freedom, the location freedom is all I've ever wanted. I know I said that for a fact on the sales call with you, was like what I wanted the most. And that's like I got it now, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, man, that's awesome. Yeah, dude, I just think just like looking back at everything, it really puts things into perspective. And you highlighted on something extremely important for people looking to get into the space, which is like just not giving up, right? Like I want to emphasize this to everybody watching. And Zach, I'm pretty sure you can like correct me if I'm wrong here, but like the entire process is simple, right? Honestly, 80% of why I help people is because most people just need a kick in the ass, right? You are probably not like most people, honestly. I would say you're somebody that like didn't need the major hand holding and didn't need to call you out or anything. I never once had to do that. It was always showing up after like
Yeah.
consistently over time, right? And if I had to like pinpoint one single characteristic as to why somebody's successful in the space, like you, like some of the other members, it's just consistency. It's just showing up. It's just doing the actual hard work. Um, and tell me about that, by the way. Like, was there any moments where you kind of went through it, right? Because again, you kind of bounced back and forth, gaining that experience. And yeah, you weren't kind of bringing in an extremely monetary gain right off the bat. But what would you say was the catalyst? Was it just the vision that we kind of like created?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think so. I'll tell you like two stories. The one part where I was like, this is definitely not legit. Like, this sucks. I'm not gonna succeed in this. And then there was the time where I was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna really make this happen. So right when I joined the program, probably like 4 days in, I was just talking about this the other day to one of my friends. And the first like week I was in the program, you set me up an interview with a guy doing like 80K a month. And I was like, dude, I don't know anything about appointment setting yet. And I get on that interview and I just make a fool of myself. Like I knew I did. He straight up told me like, yeah, I'm not gonna hire you. And I was like, yeah,
Uh,
I didn't expect to get hired at all. But I was like, damn, like this is it, are all these interviews gonna be like this? Like no one's gonna take the new guy or whatever. Not true, by the way. You're going to get landed in a small business. You might not get that home run offer right away, but odds are you won't. But don't quit. And then the time where I was like, okay, this is legit. I'm going to make some good money was in April. I took a week off of work to go on a vacation with my family, but I was on an offer appointment setting, and I made like 800 or 900 bucks that week. I was in Dominican Republic. I was on an island, and I made like 800 or 900 bucks while I took a week off of my shitty job that I didn't like. I was like, this is cool. This is
yeah,
awesome. Just from
yeah.
my phone. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like it's just that, right? It's like getting the proof. Sometimes it's just about getting the proof, right? Like you mentioned, getting on the first couple of interviews might have like set you back a little bit, might have discouraged you, whatever that might have been. Um, but for example, the minute you probably did land your first role, that was proof. And so it's just about
Hmm.
stacking proof over and over. And for example, up until this point,
The little wins.
you've made 6,500, right? In January.
Hmm.
Like, why can't you make 10? Why can't you make 10,
Exactly.
11, 12, 13? And so it's just this like feedback loop of stacking proof against your favor. And what comes with that is by just not quitting, by just doing the work consistently showing up. So um yeah, man, I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, seeing where you started, where you're at now, it's just it's not by accident by any means. Sometimes people just need the blueprint or they just need some form of guidance. And that just kind of makes all the difference. And so, I guess kind of bouncing back on like a previous question I had asked, what do you think, for example, with these two last offers, what have you specifically what do you feel like you've taken away in terms of like skill set and just ignoring the money? What does that look like?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing with that is like not really focusing on how much you're going to make, but like try to like actually build the business with the business owner. So an ideal situation is to get into a business that only has one, two, like at most three people working in it. So you
Mm,
guys, it's just such a tight knit group to really build the business more. And it's just so much more fun when you think of it like, okay, I want to build this guy's business up as like his first employee or whatever, his first and only employee, instead of like, okay, I want to make this amount of money from the business. that's kind of like a mindset thing. And I think it helps that the guy I'm working with, we've developed like a personal friendship. Like we're good friends now. So that helps too. But that's a mindset that I really got into recently. It was like, I'm just gonna focus on building up this business and the money's gonna come and it's been really fun.
No, I mean it's showing. The money's
And
coming.
doing more than just appointment setting, helping him out with anything he needs. But yeah, and that's another thing is like when you work in these online businesses, there's so many more skills and roles than just an appointment setter. So you learn all these different little things. Marketing is a big thing. Furthering your sales experience and skills, stuff like that is like you can make so much more money doing those skills. So you kind of get your foot in the door with those, build up your resume. You can move on to that to make more money in the long run and have way better skills. Because setting
Yeah.
is really just an entry level. It's pretty entry level.
It's huge. Yeah. It's
Hmm.
entry level, but like what other
But you
entry
can,
level opportunities do you make 6,500 a month?
yeah. I was just gonna say like it's entry level, but you can still make really good money if you play your
Yeah.
cards right and meet the right people.
Yeah, and you're 100% right on that note, by the way, like just the skill development overall, like for anyone wondering, like that's why I was able to be in somebody's DMs for 2 years and then just straight up launch my own offer because I developed skills, I learned, I rubbed shoulders with all these people, and that's essentially what naturally happens over time. So on that note, Zach, like what is it that you feel like you see in the future? It doesn't have to even be long term, just like where has your head been going in terms of where you can take things going forward?
Yeah, so I want to get on an offer where I can ideally set and close for the same offer. I think that'd be really cool, just really like seeing the lead from the start to the finish. Um, which is like really I just need to get into closing, which I have been doing a little bit. So I want to start taking the sales calls and closing them on the call. That's just a bit another opportunity to make a lot more money, better skill to have. And then I also want to eventually this year I want to start helping people get into appointment setting and sales because it's just like it's changed my life. If I can change like three people's lives this year, like that'd be sweet.
No.
That's got to be such a cool feeling, and I want to experience that. So definitely get furthering my skills in sales. I want to start closing on calls, continue setting, and yeah, help people get into it because it's just a fun thing to be in the online business world.
Yeah. Yeah, this industry is going, it's growing, it's not going anywhere. So there's
Hmm.
room for you to literally go down like endless avenues. Just to even
For
point out a
sure.
few that you just didn't mention, like people don't even know about like client success manager roles, right? If you're somebody, it really is dependent on whoever you are as a person. Like maybe you like the back end stuff, maybe you like automations and stuff like that. Uh,
Yeah.
so the
Account
list,
managers, client success, the
exactly, the
pure
list.
back end guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the guy that nobody knows that
literally.
still
Yeah.
makes 10K a month somehow. Um,
Hmm.
cool, man. Well, dude, I mean that's pretty much all I have for you. Again, just want to say incredibly proud of how far you've come, man, and I'm just super grateful at the fact that I've had the opportunity to be a part of the journey. Because again, I
Hmm.
gave you, the training, we helped you with some form of connections, but you did the work, right? You showed up, you didn't give up, and so. Just want to make it apparent to everybody, like you can have all the pieces in front of you. You just have to put the puzzle together. So any
Yep.
last minute things that you want to say, Zach, or anything like that before we go?
Yeah. Buy Sergio's program.
There we go. It's
Straight
easy. That's
up.
it. Just
If you're watching this and you got some money and you're scared, yeah, I get that you're scared, but don't be. Like even if you quit on yourself and it doesn't work out, you're gonna learn something.
yeah,
Um, yeah, take that leap and get into this online world. It's fun. It's cool. You make some good money, meet cool people, and yeah, it's awesome.
yeah. I mean, worst comes to worst, somebody pays me what 3, 4, 5 grand, whatever that might be. I run, move to Mexico. That person is gonna be so freaking mad. They're gonna figure out how to make 10, 12, 13, 50 grand a month. And they're just gonna do that out of spite. So that's worst situation, by the way. But it's apparent. Zach is living proof of it. I'm not going anywhere. I'm here
Literally,
to help. So again, Zach, super happy to have you on the channel, man. Knew this time was coming, just a matter of time. And dude, just keep crushing it. I'm extremely excited to see where you go from here. And yeah, this world is small, dude. So I'd imagine we're gonna kind of cross paths soon. But yeah,
for
all right,
sure.
that's about it for us, ladies and gents. Appreciate you guys listening to us talk back and forth. We'll go ahead
Yeah.
and see you in the next one. And again, if you are someone like Zach, at the very least, someone who was in a position like he was in, where you're working a job, you are not fulfilled with your life whatsoever, you've got no time freedom. I mean, this is going to be it for you. Links down below. You guys know what to do. See you guys.
Yep. Peace.